I'm thinking a lot about how there are moments in life when everything shifts. I don't expect them. Maybe I'm just going about my day, doing what I always do. And then suddenly, the world tilts. The ordinary bends into the extraordinary. A conversation changes my perspective. A sunset stops me in my tracks. A moment of clarity breaks through the chaos. And I feel a deep sense of presence, that God is near. Whether we've noticed those moments or not, I think we've all had moments like this, where the veil between the mundane and divine feels thin. Maybe it was a time of deep joy, maybe it was a time of struggle, when against all odds, we felt held by something greater than ourselves. Peter, James, and John had one of those moments. They followed Jesus up a mountain, maybe tired, maybe unsure why they were climbing in the first place. But at the top, in an instant, everything changed. Jesus, the teacher they had walked with, eaten with, laughed with, began to shine like the sun. His clothes glowed dazzling white beyond anything they had ever seen. And besides him, Moses and Elijah, the very embodiment of the law and the prophets, standing in glory. Peter did what many of us would do. He scrambled for a plan. Let's build something. Let's make this moment last. He wanted to capture it, contain it, control it. But before he could finish, a cloud, thick, heavy, and holy, descended, and from it, God's voice guided Peter. Not to fix, or speak, or build, but to listen. It's so easy to rush past moments of transformation. We want to act, we want to fix, we want to respond immediately. But what if transformation doesn't begin with action, but with attention? Listening is not passive, it's a choice. It means stopping long enough to notice what is already unfolding. It means resisting the urge to rush ahead and simply be present. It means letting the extraordinary do its work in us, instead of us trying to contain it. Maybe that's why on the mountain, God didn't say, act, understand, or worship. God said, listen. But listening is not always easy, because when we really listen, we begin to hear not just the beauty, but the brokenness of the world. The disciples came down from the mountain and found themselves back in a world still full of suffering. People were still sick. The Roman Empire was still oppressive. The world had not changed, yet something in them had. And isn't that the world we live in as well? A world where voices cry out, from the poor, the displaced, the unheard, from communities weighed down by war, hunger, and systems that do not see them. A world where creation itself groans, oceans rising, forests burning, storms growing stronger. We, like Peter, often feel helpless, so we scramble. Maybe like Peter, we rush to act, to fix, to control. We want to solve the problems. We want to make the noise stop. But in doing so, sometimes we lose the ability to hear what's being said in the silence or even in the noise. Listening isn't just about hearing what's loud and urgent. It's about hearing the quiet voices too, those that call us to compassion, to justice, to peace. And when we listen, really listen, we are changed. The author Terry Tempest Williams once said, "In the silence we can hear the song of the world, and in the still small voice of the divine." This song is not always beautiful, and it's also not always harmonious. Sometimes it is the ring of violence, of injustice, of pain that echoes through the corridors of the world. The cries of the oppressed, the outcast, the marginalized. The song they sing is heavy and full of grief. But in the midst of that, there is another song, a song of community, a song of joy, a song of resilience, a song of love, the song of the divine that moves through creation, even in its brokenness. The disciples couldn't stay on the mountain. The moment faded, the light dimmed, the world awaited, and so they walked back down, back into a world full of uncertainty, back into a world that did not yet understand what they had seen, but something in them had changed. They had seen Jesus as he truly was, and they had been told what to do next. Listen. Maybe that's our invitation too, to listen to the voices that had been silenced, to listen to the cries of the earth that are wounded and forgotten, to listen to the one who speaks not just on the mountaintops, but in the valleys too. Because when we listen and really listen, we are changed. And when we are changed, so is the world.